One of the consistent themes on the show, Carly, is I often talk about how Dragon's Den and Shark Tank, as much as I personally love those shows, I at times feel they're doing a bit of a disservice. That it's a glorification of, like you just said, that you may not need the experience as long as you can get that venture capital money, you're going to be okay. But there's a difference between a business that can get venture capital money and a business that can actually make money. So I think that's great advice. That at least get your feet wet a little bit.
I agree.
Within your industry, it's not, and that's not even an age thing.
No,
I think it's just a question of experience. Get some contacts lined up, and start to establish yourself. I would argue, before you jump in and do that leap of faith.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it was really tricky. I thought that I would be back after 6 months having my son ready to go. I mean, that wasn't the case. It was 15 months later. So that was the toughest lesson for me to learn to let go and understand that, everyone's replaceable really at the end of it, right? The business heartbeat does go on, and but everyone's contribution, makes a difference in a different capacity. But in terms of the workload, in terms of the team, but that was an epiphany for me actually at the same time, because I realized, okay, like we might be at the heart of this company, but we have strong players around us that want to leverage what we do and take the business, to new growth. So it was really great experience for me in the end.
Think of it. No matter, we have a guy here in the office that he doesn't read. He doesn't like to read, but between YouTube videos and online, like there's just so many other ways to gather or get this information, whether it's going to Algonquin part-time, full-time, or doing online courses, or it's a far cry from the days of 20, 30 years ago when you went to the library and that's that was your only really resource to outside of school to learn something.
Absolutely, and I love the way you put that. It is a great way to be a great time to be a learner. There's so many ways that you can touch into that. I think one thing that, if I was to go back and take a look at this again, I think we underestimated the power of marketing. You're so caught up in the first couple of years of just staying afloat and cash flow and building your team, and you're working so hard. And if you're lucky, like we were in the beginning, people were coming out of the woodwork. We were a new concept on the scene that was attractive. So just by the newness of being the new kid on the block, we attracted a really solid clientele, and we built on that. And so I think for the first couple of years, we were really living in that world and not leveraging marketing resources to tap into continue to build. So we were just relying on the incoming calls. And then in 2008, when the economy hit us all, we had a reality check there, because there was a significant portion of our client base that whether companies were just in the impression of not spending money and doing luxurious affairs and laying that out, which was a large part of our revenue stream as corporate entertaining, and we took a hit there.
Well, and there's so many for our listeners out there, that may be intimidated by that statement. Obviously, I agree with Carly with the other business that I run. It's a marketing agency, but there are ways to do this that don't cost you a lot of money, if any money at all.
Right.
And, kind of two things that we always emphasize to any clients that we work with is make sure you have a good referral program, like an actual proper referral program. Doesn't cost you anything to do if you do it properly, and to make sure that your existing clients are aware of all of your suite of services that you provide. And if you just do those two things alone, you should see a jump in your kind of top line revenue.
I agree.
You didn't spend a dime to do either one of those, so don't be intimidated by what Carly said. Anyone out there listening, that and yes, there should be a percentage of your revenue that is set aside for marketing, and it depends on what your needs are and how fast you want to grow the business.
That's right.